Hi guys, just got done watching 2009's The Thaw, which is a ghost house underground release. This is a fairly low budget movie, one of those with just a few characters in, and it's not a bad film. I will go on about who's in it, and then I'll tell you a bit about the film. So Val Kilmer plays Dr. Crouppen. Alexandra Station plays Infected Girl. Then there's a whole lot of crap on here. William B. Davis as Ted, Gary Chalk as Jack, Peter Kalamis as Mike, Carl Schmid as Frederick, Steph Song as Lynn, Aaron Ashmore as Atom, and Martha Mac Isaac as Evelyn, and Viv Leacock as Bart. Bart. So anyway, the film starts out and it's got like video footage of this girl asking them to pull this bug out of her head. It's like a parasite and it's like, and it's sticking out. So the guy goes to get it and it crawls back in and she's like, oh no, and that's the end of that. And it basically goes on, this film is mostly about global warming, like for instance, because of global warming, the Arctic is melting. And because the Arctic is melting, that means that there will be parasites that come out and kill us all. So you get Dr. David Crouppen. It is Crouppen. Let me get that right. Yeah, Dr. David Crouppen. That's right. I just wanted to get it right. And basically, he's with his team in the Arctic, and they see a snow bear, a polar bear. Sorry, they see a polar bear, and basically they're like, "Oh look!" and it comes running towards them, and then they go, "Where is it?" And it's dead. And why has it died? Because it was eating a bit of melted bit where there's a mammoth. So it was eating a mammoth that had been melted, where the ice had melted. And it died. So they grab her and say, "Oh, woohoo, we found it, we found a discovery, yeah." And then you basically meet Evelyn Crouppen, who's David Crouppen's daughter. She seems to be a spoilt little brat, and she's sitting in the back seat of a car going, "Oh, I want my inheritance." And basically he says on the phone, "I'll give you everything if you come and save me." Now, then it shows Val Kilmer, David Crouppen again, and his team. And basically they find that there's basically a parasite. And that the parasite is basically killing these animals. But it's killed the mammoth. It's been in a mammoth for maybe 20,000 years, whatever, however long it was frozen for. And that's come out, got the bear, and they're probably all infected. So basically, he calls Bart and says, "Whatever you do, don't let Evelyn come or the team." And so it begins. Bart says, "You can't go," because at the beginning, around that time, after Bart tells us can't go, you find out there's three students that go into work with him from a class. One is Atom, one is Freddy, and one is Ling. Ling. And basically, it turns out that Freddy cheated on Ling. Or that's what I reckon. He cheated on her, and basically she's never forgiven him. So you find out that they're going to be going there to do some research. So Bart tells her she can't go, and she gets in anyway and says, "You're going to take me." So he doesn't really fight her that much, and he takes her. When they get there, they're gone. No one's there. Because what happened was earlier, as they were flying over there, Jane, who was infected, decided to shoot Val Kilmer in the chest. Dr. Crouppen got shot in the chest. And his mate got shot as well. And she's like, "I'm fine, I'm sick." So they find her and they take her back to the research facility. And she's like, "Don't let him escape." And she goes, with all this stuff coming out of her mouth. And Evelyn goes in to give her mouth to mouth. And Freddy and they go, "No, don't do that." You're like, this is the most stupidest thing. Someone's infected. Someone's puking up. Black, disgusting, sick. And you're going to give her mouth to mouth. And then they look at her more closely and a parasite goes back in her eye. So basically, they're looking around and basically there's a scene where Ling and Freddy they're like, Freddy's like, I'm sorry, I've missed you. I don't know what to say. She goes, oh, is this to tell your friends back at home, but you've got one last shag? And you're sitting there going, it probably is, but he reckons he's in love with her. Well, 10 minutes later, she's on the floor and he's humping her, and you're sitting there going, this woman's really got no self-respect for herself. She's telling the bloke that he's going to take his friends back home, yet she still sleeps with him. While she sleeps with him, a bug comes out, a little parasite comes out, and he jumps because it turns out he's scared of bugs. Now, if you're scared of bugs, what are you doing this kind of work for? Ain't you going to find bugs down the line? So she goes, oh, don't be silly, Freddy. It's going to be okay. You know, I'll look after you. And basically he leaves, and it turns out she gets infected because the next day you see all these bites on her face. And Bart's been bitten, and his arm is covered. It's got worse. There's like this pussy looking stuff on his arm, like there. Ooh. And I'm sitting there going, ooh. So basically, when they find that Jane is dead, they don't leave her in that room and seal it off, even though there's bugs all over her, like parasites inside her and everything, and they find out that there's been eggs laid in her stomach. They decide to lift her to the room where the polar bear is and put her down in there. And I'm sitting there going, but ain't they scared that these parasites are going to get on them? Because they're like, cover her in the sheets. But they can go through the sheets, so what the hell are they on about? So basically, they put her in there and they're like, we're going to have to call in a team to research this before it gets too late. And Freddy decides, no, I'm going to shoot the thing. I'm going to shoot the radio. And you're like, radio killed the radio star. Well, radio killed the research kids. Anyway. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, and he's going crazy, and then Lynn's being sick, and he says to her, my penis is really hurting, you dirty, dirty girl. Who you been sleeping for with all these months? And you're like, the girl's sick, can't you see she's puking? I wouldn't give a care about that. So then it turns out that his penis is infected with the bugs. These parasites are in his penis. And I was like, I really hope we get to see this like real pussy penis looking thing. But we never get to see it, which really upset me. And so, basically, he's going crazy. Aaron Ashmore, is it the right one? Because it might be Sean. No, it's Aaron Ashmore, Atom, and Evelyn basically are working together through the whole film. And they're obviously like the nutty ones. And what gets me, you know, like the geniuses. What gets me is Evelyn. I know she's her father's daughter, and I know that she would know basics. But at the beginning of the film, I can't imagine her knowing all this stuff she apparently knows. Because she just didn't look like she cared. You know, it was like, Father, just give me all my money. That's what it was like. I hate you, Father, because you never turned up to Mama's funeral. You know, and basically then Lynn is basically put in a room and Freddy shoots her in the head. And she still doesn't die. And Bart tells her, oh, here's another scene for you. Bart decides he's going to dig the eggs out of his arm. So he gets the knife. And then he digs a bit out. He's like, yay! And then you see one of the parasites go deeper into his thing. And you're like, uh-oh. And then he says, you're going to have to cut my arm off. And they're like, can't do it. Can't do it. No, no, no. And Freddy goes, if you cut his arm off, I'm shooting you. And you're like, okay. This really affects you how? You're already infected. But nobody apparently knows that he's infected, even though he's acting like he's infected. So basically Aaron Ashmore, Atom, I don't know why his name is Atom. I kept thinking it was Adam, but they were saying Atom wrong. But it isn't, it's Atom. So he goes, wah, wah, and gets it in the arm, and he gets that deep. He gets the tiny deep bit in the arm, you know, like that. Doesn't go the whole way. So Evelyn goes, she got to do it again, got to do it again. It's like, so she grabs on it and does the most pathetic swings ever, like, and you're like, put some effort in it. At least do like Day of the Woman or Spit on Your Eye. Oh no, oh no, you know. But no, doesn't do it. His arm comes off on the floor, bags it, It's in the sink. That's how we do it. But another problem with this is right there. Right? It's this is funny because they didn't have the first aid kit to start off with. So they had to run out and get the first aid kit. When if someone's going to cut your arm off, surely you'd have the first aid kit there. So that was great. I thought that was really funny. So Bart ends up punching Freddy in the face when he wakes up, after he shoots Lynn. And he goes in there. He goes, I've got a syringe. You know, give her some, you know, relief basically to put her out. And I'm like, she's been shot in the head through that little glass bit, which was right near her head, and she's still alive, and he's going to sedate her. I kept thinking that he wanted them to leave so he could whop something else out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you're half dead. Why not give me a little bit? So I'm sitting there laughing, thinking this movie's fantastic. And so Evelyn and Atom look in the room with the polar bear. Oh, sorry. She goes in there. She goes in there for some reason. I can't remember what it was now. But she goes in there and she's doing something. They bash on the window, go, Evelyn, Evie, Evelyn. And she looks around, there's all these bugs, all these parasites come towards her. And she steps on them and runs out. And once Freddy won't let Atom let her out. But when she does get out, he goes, you've got to get naked. And we've got to see that you haven't got one on you. So it turns out she has got one on her, halfway in her body. And Atom pulls it out. But Atom has to look at her body and check the rest of her. And you're like, there's no nudity. We only saw above the chest and below where the feet were. And I'm sitting there going, this would be a perfect chance to see her naked. And then he could have, and I was like, is he going to check everywhere? Everywhere. Is he going to go under her legs and go, he didn't. He just looked at her body very slightly and went, you're not infected. So they decide they need to get the helicopter out of there. And Freddy has gone crazy. And Freddy's just like ridiculous. And I wish I could remember what. Oh, that's right. He pulls a gun out on him outside. And then here comes Dr. David Gripen. He shoots him in the head. And he's alive. And you're like, hold on a minute. You were shot in the chest, point blank, like this far away. They went to where you were before and they didn't find you. And it's been about 24 hours and now all of a sudden you turn up. You'd be dead. You got shot right here. He'd be dead or he'd be in a coma. So he gets up and he goes, oh. He goes, I'll be right here. You go back in there and you set that place on fire. And so she goes, all of a sudden she goes, oh. This is Eve. Oh. He knew all along. And Atom goes, who knew? She goes into the room and she watches a tape on the camcorder, and it shows basically Dr. Gripen going, because of global warming, we will not be able to survive. We need parasites like these to basically kill everybody, and thousands will die. But it'd be good because it'll stop global warming. So what does he do? He opens the jar thing, puts it on his arm, cuts his arm, and lets the bug go inside him to basically take him over. So you're sitting there going, this guy's a very smart man. Yeah. So basically they're still trying to escape. And they see, but the parasites have completely covered the polar bear because they've been given birth to. The eggs have hatched. And they're coming to life, basically. So they're going to set the place on fire, but they don't get to. Because basically the search team who's coming to rescue them picks up Dr. Gripen. Dr. Gripen says they're all quarantined, they're all dead. Quick, let's go. Atom jumps onto the bottom of the helicopter, swings himself on it, yeah, hey, you know. And he goes, it's infected. They go, what's he saying? And David Gripen at that time should have gone, he's infected. You know, I'm sitting there going, this is perfect time where they should have played some music like We're hanging about, you know, all that stuff. Hanging on your every word or something, you know. It would be funny. Anyway, so Atom, being the genius he is, they get really high and he just falls to his death. Now I'm like, after this whole movie, what a great way to die. And that's when Eve decides that her father has realised that technically her father has basically tried to kill her, you know, leave her to die. And you're like, that's great, father, isn't it? So she starts shooting her rifle at him, at the thing. It shoots one of the helicopter pilots. And I knew as soon as she started shooting that the helicopter was going to crash right in that building. And it did. So they got rid of all the bugs, all the parasites, and it got rid of her father. She didn't cry once about him. She just was like, oh, I can't get this helicopter to sleep. Another search teams come, they rescue her, and she says this babble about how her father was doing the best he thought possible for global warming. Now, he wasn't a bad man, but he just basically has made some mistakes, and that he genuinely was doing it for the good of the cause. And you're sitting there going, what a load of bull. The person who made this movie was obviously all about global warming. And you're like, I understand about global warming. I understand that it's real. I understand that it affects us day to day. And I admit, I guess there are things out there with global warming melting that could affect us more or could affect us in some ways. Who knows? You know? You don't. But so right at the very end, you see a dead bird with the parasites in them, and they go in the dog, and then that's the end. I'm guessing it's trying to get to a sequel where they're taking over the whole world. But you sit there going, well, this movie wasn't bad. You sit there going, the movie wasn't bad. It was pretty good. I like the tension. I like the suspense of the movie because that's basically all it was. Tension and suspense. There was nothing really horrific about it unless you're one of those people that doesn't like bugs or parasites or insects. Then it's going to affect you more. I have to be honest, it makes me look twice now whenever I see a bug on the street. I'm like, oh no, it's going to take me over and make me throw up black sick. And then someone try and give me mouth to mouth because they're stupid. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, this movie is great. It's fun. It's a different kind of horror movie because it's supposed to be a horror, but in my view, it's more of a thriller because there's no really horrific about it. People getting sick, people are getting ill, the bugs, the parasites are coming for them and stuff. But you don't really feel like they're ever in complete danger. If you get what I'm saying. You always feel like they're ahead of it. I would have liked to have seen more possible danger scenarios. But yeah, overall, it's quite a good film. Val Kilmer was great in it. Aaron Ashmore was great in it. And the girl who played Evelyn, who was, I always like to make sure I get it right, Martha McIsaac, they were great in it. And so was the people who played Lynn and Bart. But it was one of those times where you didn't need to be a great actor or actress because you just need to go along with the script. So I liked it. It was cheaply filmed, obviously. It wasn't the greatest film. I mean, there's a lot of plot. There's a lot of holes in the movie. Like, for instance, they're supposed to be in the cold Arctic. Yet when they were breathing, you didn't see no cold air. You didn't see none of that stuff. It looked like they were in Canada. That's what it looked like, and I'm sure they were. I bet if I looked at where it was filmed, I bet it says Canada. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, see if it does. Come on. Where was you filmed? Ooh. Yep. British Columbia, Canada. That was a good guess. So yeah, it's a very decent movie. It's one of those I recommend checking out, especially if you've got a problem with bugs or parasites, or if you're scared of, insects taking over the world. It's one of those type of films. And if you like a smart, kind of silly, smart thriller, because to me it's not a horror because nothing horrific really happens other than people being sick. The horrific thing is Val Kilmer trying to kill his daughter. But I've got to admit, I'd have tried killing her too if I was him, so anyway. So yeah, not bad film, pretty good. I'd recommend giving it a go. I got mine for $5. So that's not bad. That's the price I'd pay for this movie. It's $5. I wouldn't pay more than that because it doesn't bring anything new to the table. It's got a fairly smart ending, and it's got a fairly good cast. I just wouldn't call it. I wouldn't say go out and buy it brand new for $15 because it's not that type of movie. So those movies you pick up for $5, you don't expect much, and you highly enjoy it. That's the type of movie this is. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I enjoyed it, found it highly entertaining, and it was just really good. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, have a lovely day, and if you haven't, please subscribe, and yeah, continue on your day and have a wonderful day. And thanks for watching. It means a lot. Thanks, guys. Take care and have a lovely day. I need to stop saying that multiple times in the video. Lovely day. Lovely day. Let's have a lovely day. Have a lovely day, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.